Enjoy every moment. You never know when things might change. I exercise 3 to 4 times a week, doing the Tracy Anderson method, which involves toning and strengthening our small muscle groups. I'm such a chameleon. I never get bored. You're either too fat or too thin. You just can't win. There is no kind way to rip the skin off animals' backs. Anyone who wears any fur shares the blame for the torture and gruesome deaths of millions of animals each year. I'm not a nightclub person, but you need to have a social life sometimes. I like the idea of growing old gracefully and full of wrinkles, like Audrey Hepburn. Isolation is a big part of songwriting. Happy songs are very difficult to write. How many truly great upbeat songs are there? I am such a bad liar. I would like to lie, though. I've done a lot of partying in my time because I didn't want to go home and I didn't know what to do. You're only as good as your last record and you could get dropped. It's much easier to write when you're sad, but you can end up isolated and depressed because you almost need to put yourself in that situation to have that angst to write from. I would have been happy to have waited till I was in my mid to late 30s before I got married, but you don't choose when these things happen, and when they do, there's no doubt in your mind. It's good to have to put yourself in someone else's skin. It's all-consuming. The success of Torn was a bit too much for me. I took a year off and was still scared to start the second album. You feel this pressure that people will take you more seriously if you play guitar, but I've decided I'm a singer and that's enough. I know my music probably isn't going to matter to the public after I die, but that doesn't mean I don't have something to offer. I seem to have very polite fans, not fanatical ones. I worry unnecessarily. I started dancing when I was 3, Scottish dancing. I'm quite confident with the way that I look, but you find something else to focus on, don't you? I have body issues, that's my thing, so you find something to focus on when you're a perfectionist, I think. I wasn't born with a natural talent for songwriting. I like singer-songwriters, and I find sad songs comforting rather than depressing. It makes you realize you're not alone in the world. It's not very often that I like new bands. There are artists who think they have to be on top all the time. I think that would be exhausting. I have never planned to have babies by a certain age. I was brought up in an environment where my parents expressed their financial concerns in front of their children. Saving animals is as simple as choosing synthetic alternatives instead of real fur. Divorce was very sad, obviously, but now I've gotten over it. Since childhood, I've always had a tendency to lean towards melancholy. My sisters suffer from it too, so maybe it's a genetic thing. But none of us has ever been on medication. I can understand why some people might look at me and say, "What's she got to be depressed about?" I get that a lot in Britain, where mental health issues seem to be a big taboo. If I start feeling down, I'll gorge myself on pasta. That usually does the trick. It's the Italian blood in me. I've always been drawn to the four-leaf clover. It's deeply significant to my sister and me, so much so that we both have had it tattooed on the inside of our wrists. I wasn't naturally drawn to fashion when I was younger, but with my work I'm so exposed to what's out there that I'm hoping my style has become a little more sophisticated. When I'm in London, I love to visit Kensington Gardens and just sit in the park and read a good book. My kitchen bench is covered with vitamins and protein powders. I go through phases when I'm sure I'm taking too many, but I don't get sick often. Generally, I can sleep anytime, anywhere, any place. Unless I'm anxious about work, I can get performance anxiety, so when I'm on tour, it can be hard to sleep. I'm a fan of homeopathy, acupuncture, and spiritual healing. In Australia, this is not weird, but when I arrived in the UK, everyone thought I was a freak. I think where men are credited for being strong, women are divas. I just think it's such a cop-out. When I'm passionate about something, I just get excited. My mom said I told her I wanted to be a hairdresser during the week and a star on the weekend, and that was when I was really young.